Hey y'all, Mike with Cardboard Kingdom. Today we're going to focus specifically on the first chapter, sealed collecting, sealed Lorcana, etc. We have had another wave, we'll say, of the Ravensburger Amazon MSRP first chapter boxes. 143.99 free shipping. It's not Prime, but it is free shipping. You obviously have to pay taxes, but then you can use like Amazon cards and get 5-10% cash back. And so that brings the all-in cost. You're kind of getting first chapter 130, 135 shipped to the door if you take advantage of those options. And those listings, if you guys recall, I got one a couple weeks ago. They dried up for a while after that, for I would say honestly a couple weeks, until yesterday. A whole bunch of listings hit the market again. Now, I was not able to get any. I tried every time. I did hear from Brandon in the community that he has friends who got a ton of them. I was not able to secure any. With that being said, there definitely was. I was getting the notifications as they were popping up. And so there's another influx of first chapter coming. Now, we haven't heard anything about reprints, restocks, etc. There's been nothing significant on that front. And I don't think we really have any we don't have anything to worry about there until we start to see our LGSs have them and sell them and have them readily available. Because at that point there might have been another reprint, or they just had so much set aside from the first reprint that now they're kind of doing an additional restock. And I got quite a few comments from the community yesterday worried about the overall numbers and print runs, etc. And I think that this is a really good point to have kind of a heart to heart and realize that there's no guarantees with these sealed products. Lorcana is an untapped, unknown market. We don't know what the print cycles are going to be with Ravensburger. We had the first reprint that came that was desperately needed. It seems like they printed a ton during that reprint, and quite frankly, it was needed. I know that our channel and our community is focused on collecting, but you guys have to understand that the player base, there has to be a player base for people to collect it. Whenever you're talking about a new trading card game in a new space like this, there has to be a core cult following that is playing the game, and that is going to bring in the collector side, in my opinion. I know Ravensburger feels the same way. If players can't get their hands on cards, the game is going to die. And it's just that simple, guys. If you remember a couple of videos ago, we talked about that person who was coming over from Magic who had $350 to spend. You're hard pressed to find a really good deck for $350. Like, these cards are not cheap, and that as collectors is our advantage because we can open these products and piece out a lot of the singles, and then if we open an enchanted, then we're in a good spot, right? And so that's a very unique proposition. You can't do that in a lot of other trading card games. And so that's kind of where we're at with Lorcana. But once again, to kind of hammer it home, this is not a proven market. We do not know the print cycles for Ravensburger. We don't know what they're considering. If you compare this to like the Pokemon side of things, EV Heroes, the Japanese version of Evolving Skies, we saw that get reprinted this year. And now it's a set that's 3 or 4 years old. And so that's what Pokemon's doing, right? We're getting like the third or fourth reprint of 151 that's coming for Pokemon. Like and that side of things, those sets are years old. 151, not as much. Evolving Skies or EV Heroes is. And we're still seeing those products come out. If you are familiar with the like vending machines that Pokemon has, like those things are getting restocked with Evolving Skies every week. And so like these packs are coming from somewhere, right? They're getting restocked by Pokemon. And so I know a lot of you guys, I get the sense, that are new to collecting and new to holding sealed product. And so I think look, prices are still in a very stable spot. Lowest on the market is 215.50. There is a very interesting listing here from ESPN Ray, which I'll get into. But then we're back up to the 220s, and so we're still in a very healthy spot. I feel like if someone is teetering and like, you know what, I don't have the time horizon, I can't sit on whether it's $200 for a box or $800 for a case. I don't have the patience to sit on this stuff, so I need to get rid of it. I think that now is the finest time as ever to go ahead and offload that product. Now, me personally, I have zero concerns, but I have the right time horizon where, look, I don't want them to continuing to put out product. I don't want them to continue to reprint and all that stuff. Like, as a collector, yes, I don't want more copies out there. But at the end of the day, I understand that this is a very risky proposition, and there is no set determining factor on when they're going to stop printing and when they're gonna move on to the next cycle, etc. Now, I personally don't think they're gonna reprint the first chapter again, but I've been very transparent from the start. I don't know when or if that's true, or when or if they're going to print again. But at the end of the day, you have to understand that a product like this, when I'm looking at this, I see a product that sells consistently day after day at $200 plus a year after release. That gives me all the confidence I need to hold it into the long term because I love the set. I love the chases. There's a ton of playable cards. Like, the first chapter is a home run, and they have to print enough because the game is growing and there's demand there and people need to be able to come in and get cards. I know that as collectors we want there to be a set number of elses out there, set number of bells, etc., and there be no more and our stonks just go to the moon. But at the end of the day, guys, we are a year into the set. And there is nothing saying that Ravensburger is never going to print it again. In fact, they said that whenever they did the huge reprint, they said, "Hey, we are glad we did it. It needed to be done. It was a painstaking process, and it basically said we don't hope to do it again. But at the end of the day, we have to make sure that people can get their hands on the cards, and so that's why they did that massive reprint, which I think it had to be done. I think the game would have been in serious danger if they didn't do it. And so these boxes that are coming out to the market once again." Yes, I wish they weren't here. At the end of the day, it's a good thing. There is so much demand that they can keep putting out these boxes over and over and over again, and they still are $80 plus on MSRP the second they hit the secondary market. That should tell you all that you need to know. But I understand that if you put $200 into a box or 250 or 800, 900 into a case and you say, look, I don't have the patience for this, then you need to sell it and get rid of it and move on to singles or whatever you want to collect, right? You should always be putting your money where it's going to bring you happy and bring you joy. The sealed side of things is definitely an investment. Like, there's nothing fun about having a box of first chapters sitting around. Like, you want to open it. Having the cards is fun. It's you have to have patience. You have to keep it sealed. You have to out of sight, out of mind. And you honestly need to just write that money off. It need to be money that as soon as you spend it, it's gone. And so I feel like a lot of you guys are in that spot and you want it to go like double, triple in price immediately. And that's just not going to happen. That's not a healthy market cycle. Ravensburger is worried about getting the cards in players' hands. And at the end of the day, I think that's the right strategy. They have to build this cult following. It's been a year. We need to get 5-10 years into this thing, but we're talking about smaller print cycles and collectors and things like that. And honestly, we should be hammering the things like the collection boxes that are limited time items. So the D23 2024 set, like, that is a limited print cycle 2024 that had a very specific release. Like, they're not going to reprint that next year. Now, they might have some that they're going to slowly let onto the market, but at the end of the day, they're not going to reprint the 2024 version. They're going to come out with the 2025 or 2026. Like, these specific collector's items are probably where we should be focusing if we are looking for like short-term gains. Now, you guys know me. I'm very much playing the long-term game here. I am a proponent of Lorcana long term. I think that it's set up for success. I think they're knocking it out of the park. And so whenever I see these restocks happen, I don't really have any fear, but I'm getting a lot of pressure from you guys that we're getting very frustrated with the cycles. And I just need to reiterate that we don't have any clear defined cycles for Lorcana. Pokemon, you're looking at a 2 to 3 year reprint window most of the time. With Lorcana, we don't know what that looks like. We're a year in, and people are very, very frustrated that these boxes keep coming up. And if that's the case, then I recommend selling and moving on to something else, because it could be another year until it gets to the all-time highs. I think it's got a great sell-through rate. I think that as soon as it dries up, it's gonna go up very quickly. But at the end of the day, I have no concerns if it takes a month or a year. My sealed allocation of Lorcana is out of sight, out of mind. I could care less what it does in the near term. But that's me. I know not all of you guys are like that, and so that's why I just want to frame. We're a year in, guys. You should not be looking for any sort of return on the sealed product yet. It's got to get out of its print cycle for a duration before it dries up. People start selling and the game grows. But once again, I mean, if you frame it in the mindset of it's printed to demand right now, but if the demand doubles in 2 years and it's no longer in a print cycle, people are going to want the first chapter. They're going to want the chase cards. They're going to want the playable cards. This product is set up for success long term. Sure, that time horizon might be lengthened. There's been no official announcements about a reprint. There's been no official announcements about a restock. All we've seen is yesterday there was quite a few Amazon listings that are selling at MSRP, and that's all we know. Now, getting into like we're going to see a lot more of stuff like this, which isn't ideal, but at the end of the day, these people have the bots to do it, and so they're taking advantage of it. But when we look at this seller here, ESPN Ray, this person has boxes listed for about 216 all in. They have 12 listed right now, but if you click on their listing and you go to, oh wait, I clicked on the seller, my bad. But this actually, I should hit on this while we're here. This is a brand new seller. They have 24 sales. They're located in Florida. They have 13 sales in the last, or they have 13 reviews, or 3 reviews, but 13. Yeah, 13 positive reviews. I don't know what's going on there, but they're a very, very new seller. Not verified by any stretch of the imagination. If you look at the store, they only have a Floodborn Trove and they have first chapter boxes. And so this tells me that they are absolutely one of the people who are sniping these. They have these bots that are going as soon as Ravensburger lists their boxes at MSRP. This person is going in and buying the product. So with that being said, I want to click on the actual like listing itself. Here we go. Sorry. So here is their allocation. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These stacks are 8 high. They're 1, 2, 3 front to back. So that's 24 there, 48, 72, 96. They have at least, just in this picture, right at 100 boxes of the first chapter. And these are the people who are getting these as Ravensburger lists their boxes on sale for MSRP on Amazon. These are the people that are buying it up. And the reason that I know that is because they say that they come directly from Ravensburger. By purchasing this, you agree that these boxes may not be in mint condition. They may have small blemishes or imperfections. They will have 3 pieces of tape on them. All of this is normal, and these boxes are all purchased directly from Ravensburger. Ravensburger doesn't sell to individual people like this unless it's through that one-off Amazon listing that they're doing. And so that's how I know that this person is essentially just botting them and has been botting them for a long time now and getting them through MSRP. They clearly have an efficient system, and now they're sitting on a stockpile of 100 boxes. So this person could list them all at 200, and then we'd probably be there for a couple weeks. But at the end of the day, once again, this product is highly sought after. Lorcana is growing like crazy. And at the end of the day, this person is still making $70 to $80 per box the second he buys them. They buy them, whoever it is. So I just want to I want to consistently frame that for you guys that, look, if you're frustrated already, then it's not the product for you. If you're like me and you're fine with realizing that the ups and downs, the day to day, the week to week doesn't really matter, and that this is clearly something that people want to get their hands on. It's the first set of Lorcana, guys. We're going into Azurite Sea. We're going into set 6. The game is growing like crazy. Tournaments are selling out in seconds. Like, it is taking the trading card game by storm, trading card game industry by storm. You have all these people lined up at the D23 events. You have World Championships and Disney World, Disneyland Paris. Like, all this stuff is going on. This is the very first set of the trading card game. Think 10 years from now what people are going to do to get their hands on this. Like, if you understand it like I do and look at it from a long time horizon, then these little restocks are legitimately irrelevant. Like, sure, I wish they would stop, but at the end of the day, I could care less. But I know that some of you are not. Like, I have a disgusting level of risk tolerance. So you have to understand that when I'm looking through these things, you might look at it and say, look, this is too risky. They might reprint the set in a year, and that's and so I want to get out of it. That's a completely fair take to have and a very reasonable spot to be in. I have a disgusting level of risk tolerance. I want to have these sealed and put away, and so I'm doing that. But you guys need to make the right decision for your time horizon, for your your thought process and how you want to collect. And once again, these, like, look, keeping sealed product is not fun. Like, I want to open the cards, I want to pull the Elsa, and I want to have the cards to look at. I want to enjoy the art, right? I'm a collector first. I want to put another Elsa in my collection and be able to look at it and enjoy that with my family. But at the end of the day, I am truly looking at these as a very, very, very high risk investment that may pay off very well or may stay stagnant for years and see a bump. Or if Lorcana goes under, maybe it just goes down into the dumps. I still think there will be a market for it if that does happen. That's beside the point. Definitely won't be getting my money back at that point. So it's a very, very level of high risk, and I just want to reframe that in case I get the sense that a lot of you guys are getting worried. I know several people got boxes yesterday from the Amazon sale. And so, I mean, look, when I look at it, I still see a case at $909. That's over $250 a box. So, yep, that sounds good. The first print wave boxes are still going for well over 3,000. We have the not that I'm a fan of those at all. Obviously, you guys know that. But then we have our individual boxes going for 215, 216. Two listings from 222. So I personally have no concerns. I remain very steadfast that this is going to be a good opportunity, but I can't see the future, guys. And so you need to make the right decision for you and your collections. At the end of the day, you couldn't pry my sealed cases of first chapter out of my hands. They will be there for a long time. And that's how I'm looking at it. Now, look, I could be a fool in a year, and it could go to zero, and then I'm left holding the bag, but that is a risk that I am willing to take. If that happened, my day-to-day would not change whatsoever. But I'm of the mindset that it is going to increase, and there is going to be a demand for it, and so I'm willing to wait to see that payoff or that return. But I felt like it needed to be said. I'm getting a lot of feedback, and yeah, so I wanted to kind of put my thoughts out there. So that is today's video. It is solely about this first chapter restock, we'll call it, I guess. I mean, look, there was quite a few listings yesterday. There were a lot of boxes sold yesterday. Now, I say a lot in the context of in a sale on Amazon that were being bought out immediately. There wasn't a lot, as in the LGSs are getting a restock. Like, that would be a lot. That would take a tremendous toll on the market. That would knock the price of the box back down to like 180. What we're seeing on Amazon isn't really affecting the secondary market. And so I say a lot, but I want to frame it in the context of a lot for an Amazon sale, not a lot for the greater market. As you guys can see, it hasn't really impacted the price at all. We're staying around that 220 point, and then cases are even commanding a premium up to 909. What I will say is we could continue to see cases outpace the boxes, because there's a couple reasons for that. Sometimes the boxes don't have all the tape and they're not mint, and they just, you don't get the same feel as when you break that factory seal from a case and see those 4 boxes. Secondly, it's very common that if someone opens a case and they pull an enchanted out of the first box, they're going to sell the rest. And so I think people are getting wise to that. And then lastly, I think the sealed case with the just the idea of the boxes being mint and things like that, like, I think it's going to command a premium in the future. I've been saying that from the very start. And so I do not have a single first chapter box in my collection that is just like a standalone box. All of my first chapter are in cases. That's where I prefer it to be. That's not to say that the regular boxes aren't going to have value in the future. The just regular booster box, it will. I just think that, like, right now we're seeing individual boxes sub 220, so that puts the case price at 880. I said 250. I completely misspoke. But the sealed cases are at 909. So what's that per box? Like 230, roughly, give or take. Sorry, math is hard this morning. Maybe like 225, 230. A little bit of a premium there. I think we're going to continue to see that, and could see it outpace the individual boxes, but I could be wrong on that. So that is where we're at, guys. That are my thoughts on the first chapter reprint restock. If you have the time horizon to set it aside, that's gonna, this is like a diamond hands situation where you just have to be price agnostic. You can't sit there and monitor it day to day. You can't look at the additional supply coming on the market day to day. It has to be out of sight, out of mind. And if you can't do that, then it's not the right investment collection for you. And that's okay. That makes complete sense. And you may be rewarded for that. Once again, I can't see the future. I don't have a crystal ball. I just know that I love Lorcana. I know that Lorcana is showing me all the things that I want to see as an investment. And I want to have a piece of the first chapter in case they do continue to grow. And in case this trading card game does continue to do what I think it's going to do and become the industry leader that I think it's going to become, I want to have a piece of the first chapter, and I would be kicking myself if I was around right now on 9/12/2024. Fast forward, we're going to think 3 years out here. We're sitting in 2027. The third Worlds event just happened. Lorcana is the forefront of the trading card game industry. And I think back to 9/12/2024. I had a case of first chapter or a box of first chapter, and I thought, they printed more, man. I'm getting rid of this. I'm out of here. And then in 3 years, the box is triple or quadrupled in price. That's a realistic scenario, and that is a scenario that I'm going to withstand. You may be different. At the end of the day, that's where my chips will be placed. So I hope you guys all have a good day. We'll be back with another video soon. I'll talk to you later.